Welcome to the Saxony region of Germany. Including the city of Zwickau, this area is known for its history as one of the country's industrial centres, particularly for the German automotive sector, with some of the most recognisable car brands, both on the road and racetrack, tracing their history to here in the 1900s. Today the area welcomes FIA Karting for the first time to the Arena E circuit in Mülsen for the final round of the KZ and KZ2 European Championships. While the focus in the wider region remains on automotive tech and scientific academia, for the drivers and teams in the paddock, it's all about completing the European season and, for a select number of drivers, achieving the goal of becoming FIA Karting European Champions for 2025. A new circuit means plenty of unknowns for drivers and mechanics to get the best performance around this 1.3-kilometre circuit. Changeable conditions make the task even harder for the entire field as they look to dial in and score championship points over 3 days of competition here in Germany. The KZs are again joined by the FIA Karting Academy Trophy as the junior drivers take to the track for the second of 3 rounds across the year. With the stage set for an exciting finals day, it's time to go racing to find our 2025 KZ and KZ2 champions for the mondokart.com FIA Karting European Championships. Let's take a lap around the newest circuit on the FIA Karting calendar with home favourite David Trebolov. A blisteringly fast start to the lap kicks off with a flat-out kink before the first heavy braking zone round Mülsen. With the first overtaking zone of the track out of the way, the speeds rapidly build again before the drivers prepare for the tricky left-hander of turn 3. The track tightens in the infield with the drivers immediately thrown into a left-right chicane, easily a place where drivers can be caught out. Turns 6 through 9 gives the drivers the challenge of back-to-back chicanes. With the large curbs, it's a physical test for the drivers. Out of the infield through the right-hander of turn 10, the speeds build again, the medium-speed chicane of 11 and 12. Critical to prepare the drivers for the long run to another heavy braking zone. Turn 13 sees the drivers proceed down through the gears to navigate through this right-hander before the last blast through turn 14, close up to the barriers for maximum speed, completing a 1,315-metre lap here in Arena E Mülsen. A new circuit provided exactly the kind of challenge the FIA Karting Academy Trophy was built for, to find the next raw talent in karting from across the globe in equal machinery. The 47 drivers at Mülsen headed into the second round of their 2025 competition with plenty of challenges, the ability to learn and adapt quickly being key, with CIK FIA President Akbar Ibrahim and Alex Geyer from the organising committee in attendance. The 36 drivers through the 3 rounds of qualifying heats headed into the final with plenty to smile about. The changeable conditions had left Slovenia's Nick Bretzel on pole. They'd be joined on the front row of the grid by Finland's Oiva Ventonranta, both looking to improve on their final results from the first round in Spain. In contrasting fortunes, championship leader Mülsen Marchand would start 7th. A nervous start for those on the outside line resulted in a terrible start for Emilia Byrne. Having started 6th, the host nation's driver had hoped for at least a podium. Quite the opposite. Byrne for Germany was out on lap 1. Meanwhile, back at the front, the battle was on, with Ventonranta going for it into turn 3, immediately taking the initiative to establish a position of strength in the final. Nicola Frieg of Switzerland was also looking to improve, overtaking Bretzel for 2nd place at a few corners later. A tough start for the winner of the earlier morning heat. Places were also being traded behind. Start of lap 2 and Frieg was intent on continuing the form that had seen the Swiss driver win a heat early in the meeting. Down the inside of Ventonranta for the lead and successfully taking it. Finlay Lines had navigated his way through into 5th for the United Kingdom. Czechia's Planeta feeling the full force of the curbs. At the end of lap 2, Frieg led from Ventonranta, Moore, Bretzel, Lines, Planeta, Reitstrup and Rafa Bassato to complete the top 8. Lap 3, Valencia winner Mülsen Marchand was not having as positive a run in Germany, losing out to Bautista Panetta and Kailan Gershev dropping out of the top 10. Mark Reitstrup of Denmark used turn 3 to take 6th place away from Panetta, while Lines continued to gain spots, this time past Bretzel for 4th place. The Mülsen circuit delivering plenty in terms of big stakes overtaking in the early stages. Lap 6 and again the Briton went on the attack, this time up to third by overtaking Moore into the first braking zone. Brasil showed he wasn't done by overtaking the South African in the wake of lines. However, the Slovenian would struggle to get momentum. As soon as he thought about moving forward, Moore was back down the inside at turn 3 to retake 4th place. Rijstrup's follow-up would drop the pole sitter to 6th. Next to overtake Brasil would be Bautista Panetta, a strong first half for the Argentine driver who had started 16th, gaining 10 places in the opening third of the race. Turhanun Ludogan's attempt to pass at turn 4 would have come off, allowing Guyashev a path into the top 10 on lap 7. Turns 4 and 5 would catch out Greece's Athanasios Sakos and Bahrain's Nasser Das on lap 8. Lap 9 would see Ludogan's race end early, in a race with only 3 retirements, while Rijstrup would get past Moore for 4th place before the last and most dramatic of those 3 retirements would occur. A high-speed crash through turn 14 for Romania's Tudor Jurcan would see the 525 kart retire and trigger the slow procedure to be deployed by the race officials at the halfway point. And with the race finally in the balance, it would be free to get the restart right to fend off the chasing pack. Off the restart, Veteranter attacked. A superb move round the outside of Frigg would give the Finn the race lead. A spectacular overtake that stunned those watching at the track and around the world. Finley Lyons would drop back from 3rd place, the early race pace eluding him after the green flag, even having to take to the grass through turn 5 as the compacted field pounced. Frigg responded, overtaking Veteranter through sector 2 to retake the lead. The battle for victory in Germany was on. Lap 14, and having got back into the podium spots, Jack Moore was trying to fend off Rijstrup. The Dane would prove too much of a handful, success for him through turn 5. A lap later, matters would get worse for Moore, Panetta finding a way through and opening the door for others, including Bassato and Lyons. Moore was down to 7th, with the battle continuing to rage on in the infield section. In the melee behind, Bassato of Brazil found themselves off the road and slipping back, whilst Nikolai Karyukin was now in play, up from 20th at the start. Having struggled off the restarts, Lyons' race pace was back, and by the end of lap 16, the British driver was back past Panetta for 4th place. Jack Moore followed the example set to stage his own mini-redemption arc to push himself back into the top 5. Karyukin, meanwhile, found a way past Bassato for 7th place on the road. Lap 17, a close moment between Moore and Panetta through turn 5 resulted in another trip to the grass for one of the Academy juniors. The competition for points within the top 15 ahead of the season finale was fierce. Back at the front, the top 3 all had a strong chance to claim victory. Lap 18 would be where Veteranter made the move to outbrake Frigg, this time on the inside, to retake the race lead. It would prove to be the key move as Finland's Oiva Veteranter drove to a magnificent victory in Germany. A long overdue victory for Finland as a nation, it would be the first win for a Finnish driver in the competition since Jonas Lapalainen, the champion 13 years ago. The final classification for Academy Junior. Veteranter wins from Frigg and Rijstrup. Lyons narrowly misses out on a podium. Panetta heads the second group in 5th with Tomasz Czekaracki, Bassato, Julian Rivera, Moore and Guyashev all taking home strong points. Veteranter on top in Germany and a new joint championship leader, all to play for in the final round.
Yeah, it's been awesome weekend and fun track and fun race, so got the best results possible. Yes, it's much harder than normally. No one got any better engine and, you know.
We knew right at the beginning that we would be fast right at the beginning, so I went for a lead and made quite a good gap, but I lost the gap again because of the yellow procedure. And yeah, in the end I had some problems and lost some focus, but P2 is good.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. We started off pretty low, but over the weekend, also mostly in Saturday and Sunday, we were very quick. I was one of the fastest over the whole weekend, so we had good speed. Just needed to turn it into a good position, and yeah.
As the drivers in KZ2 prepared for the final European Championship race of 2025, the big question on everyone's lips was a simple one. Could anyone stop the champion-elect Max Orlov from completing a clean sweep of round victories across the season. The job prior to the final for Orlov had been to pick up championship points and stay safe, which it achieved with a heat win along the way. Heat wins had also gone to Jaden Teen, Marek Skrivan, Timo Youngling and Marcus Kayak ahead of the final. With the grandstands filling, the minutes counting down to the final, it would be up to the unbeaten across the weekend pole sitter Jaden Teen to see if he could deliver another Sodi victory, or whether Marek Skrivan could break the French squad's KZ2 streak starting from the outside of the front row. 23 laps in Germany to find this year's champion. Tension building ahead of the run down to the first braking zone in KZ2, one of the longest runs from the grid this season. The start would not go well for Noah Wolf from row 2. A tremendous start for Skrivan put the Praga liveried machine into the race lead. Teen would hold on to second place ahead of teammate Youngling, while Orlov jumped up to 4th place. A good start for Simon Reckenmacher gave the home fans something to cheer for as he claimed an early 5th place. While out of turn 5, the Birrells of Wolf and Jay Irwin would debate matters inside the top 10. Early progress would be important for those looking to finish the season strongly. Corentin Rousseau would take to the grass, while there would be bigger problems for Ellie Goldstein in the TB cards, spun round at turn 10 and out of contention. Lap 3 and Skrivan continued to hold off the 3 CPV Sport prepared Sodis. A mistake from Teen allowed teammates Youngling and Orlov through. A rare mistake for Teen on a weekend that had seen him on qualifying pole. When every heat he'd competed in, he was now off the final podium. After a difficult start, Noah Wolf was on a charge. The move under braking into turn 13 gave the Briton 6th place past Max Schleimer. Skrivan continued to lead from Youngling and Orlov. Into the first braking zone on lap 4, Orlov moved past his teammate and up to 2nd place. Having measured himself through the weekend, knowing he'd already done enough to become champion, his next target was the race leader, while Teen returned to 3rd place past Youngling at turn 3. Youngling's defence ahead of Reckenmacher ensured the Sodis still had control of their destiny. Later on lap 4, Wolf repeated his move on Schleimer for 6th, whilst matters weren't going well for Rasmus Andersen. Out before the completion of the 5th lap, Andersen would become the first retirement of the KZ2 final. On to lap 6, the inevitable charge of Maxim Orlov saw him take the lead from Skrivan. Into first position before the braking zone, the champion-elect was back into his familiar position and looking unstoppable. Did the opposition have anything left to take the fight to him? Teen's move on Skrivan immediately put them and Youngling into a battle for a strong 2nd place. Teen, keen to keep track position, defended ahead of his teammate out of turn 5. Teen's persistence paid off with a strong move on lap 7 to take 2nd place. Despite Skrivan's brave defence, the writing was on the wall for his podium hopes as Youngling filed through into turn 3 for 3rd place. In a matter of moments, CPB Sport had a Sodi lockout of the podium places in KZ2. The team's standings points continued to roll in for them ahead of the rest. Wolf again past Schleimer. Crucially this time, Jean Louis in another of the Birrells followed through, leaving Schleimer little chance to fight back. Lap 9, Schleimer's move into turn 3 returned the 308 cart back into P6. Noah Wolf's move on Marek Skrivan on lap 12 elevated the young Brit to P4. A continued showing of the race pace which had been strong for Wolf all weekend. Orlov's measured approach all weekend meant that he wasn't streaking clear, having to aid his teammates with the slipstream. Further back, Marcus Kayak's aim was to secure 2nd in the championship. A move on Loyer on lap 16 helped to further secure that position. Louis Speck was on the search for his first final points of the year. A move past Irwin on lap 16 put the German solidly into the top 10 to add to his points tally from earlier on in the weekend. Both also passed Reckenmacher, whose pace had faded. Lap 22 and Alessio Pacini's overtaken Irwin secured 11th place, a result that would match a season's best for the Italian driver. Back at the front, Orlov's near-perfect season was complete. A 3rd final win of the year for Maxim Orlov made it back-to-back European drivers' titles for CPV Sport in KZ2, and a winning points margin of over 120 to the nearest competitor. To cap matters, it was a podium lockout for the orange, black and white. Truly one of the most remarkable, impressive performances from both team and individual the FIA Karting European Championships had ever seen. The result in Germany, Orlov makes it 3 from 3 ahead of a deserved podium for Teen and Youngling. Wolf's best of the rest in 4th, winning out ahead of Schleimer. Marcus Kayak secures the championship runner-up spot with 6th, ahead of Scrivan, Arthur Poulin, Louillet and Speck in the top 10. A stunning performance from the CPB Sport team, every trophy going home with them, including another KZ2 European Drivers' title.
Yeah, amazing feelings, yeah, amazing final as well, from P5 to P1, amazing pace. So yeah, about the season it was amazing in every final and also dominating like in 2 rounds, Valencia and Sauno. So yeah, feeling so good, so exciting for the World Cup at Fanchakora, and yeah, I think it will be good.
Yeah, really good weekend for me. The speed was amazing this week. I've been working hard together with the team and the engine and my mechanic to get the best package possible. We managed to do a good lap of qualifying, which put me on top of the board. Managed to do all the 3 heats, finishing P1. In the final, I knew, of course, you're doing on the European Championship, so it's always going to be tough. But in the end, I made a few mistakes, which, yeah, I'm not happy about. But in the end, we managed to finish P2, a full podium lockout for Saudi, which I'm really happy for them, and they managed to take the championship. So, yeah, great weekend overall.
Yeah, obviously it's a super good feeling. Not many people see how much the team works for this. So of course it's very good to be here with all my team, and all the hard work we've done is just an indication of what's coming. And the final, my main goal was a podium. I knew my speed for the rest of from the week was pretty good, so that the podium was definitely in mind. And it's a great feeling to share with my whole team here, of course.
I'm very proud of my team, proud of my engine tuner as well. Sometimes we forget them, but we always give them the best engine. And also for sure the Saudi kart. We change tires. Boom, immediately fast. We are that really fast with any tires. KZ2 especially, I want really to congratulate my driver, because sometimes we forget, but they're very young, So, but they make an amazing job. They work together, and it's not easy because for sure you want to beat your teammates. But they work together, and for me it's like the result of my job, and I'm so proud of that.
Whilst the title picture in KZ2 was a foregone conclusion, KZ's final provided a tantalising last course for those trackside to see who would be able to claim the 2025 KZ European Championship title. Ahead of the final, Matteo Spurgel's performance through the heats had closed the championship points gap to 19 behind winner of the first 2 finals of the year, Pedro Hiltbrand. The 2024 KZ2 European champion had leapt above Giuseppe Palomba in the standings, who still had an outside shot himself. Spurgel would start from pole, with teammate Senna van Waalstein alongside on the front row. Christian Batuka would go from 3rd, with Palomba sharing the 2nd row. Hiltbrand, starting 6th, would need to go forward to sufficiently defend his points lead and become champion. The start of the race was always going to be a pivotal point of proceedings, each driver knowing their hopes of European Championship glory could end right here. As the lights went out, both Saudis started well, with Van Waalstein immediately forming behind title hopeful Spurgel on the run down to the first braking zone. Van Waalstein's next move was clear: hold the field back and allow Spurgel to break clear of the rest. Turn 3 would be the scene of the first major flashpoint, Van Waalstein and Batuka getting together and both falling out of contention for a podium. Of far greater consequence, Pedro Hiltbrand had gained the easiest 2 positions of his season, but having also lost out to Nomblo through Sector 1, Hiltbrand was only up to 5th. The best option for the Spaniard? Attack. And that's exactly what Hiltbrand did. A mighty brave move down the inside of Denner gave the championship leader 4th on the road. With Spurgel leading, he needed every point possible. 4th would mean losing 16 of his 19 points advantage. Danilo Albanese followed Hiltbrand's example to force his way past Denner for 5th. Good news for Hiltbrand, no drivers now immediately on his tail. Jean Nomblo's race pace at Sarno had been one of the highlights in the final, and pace in Germany was not enough to stop Hiltbrand's move for 3rd into turn 3. More points for the Birol ART man, another nerve-wracking step towards the first FIA title of any category in 9 years. Spurgel continued to lead from Palomba, Hiltbrand and Nomblo, the championship still on the line. Lap 13 and further positives for Hiltbrand. Nomblo lost 4th place to Albanese at turn 3. A nice move from the former champion, who is on for his strongest final finish of the season. Elsewhere, Paolo Ippolito was fending off the likes of Daniel Vasile, David Trevelov and Victor Gustafsson in the battle for the minor places in the top 10. Turn 3 saw Trepelov superbly overtake for 8th place, sending Vasile into the path of Victor Gustafsson behind. With less than a third of the race to go, the top 3 in the championship were the top 3 on the road. The others left perhaps to wonder what they need to do to be competitive at the World Championships later in the year. Lap 17, a second incident between Batuka and Van Walstein, left the number 31 card with significant rear damage. Both would stop at the end of the lap. The stewards would judge Van Walstein at fault. The Dutchman disqualified from the final and handed a suspended fine for his actions. Lap 18, the turning point of this year's KZ European Championship. Pedro Hiltbrand's number 59 Birol comes to a halt at turn 4, handing the live championship points lead back over to Matteo Spurgel. A crushing moment for the Spanish driver, who after dominating the finals in Valencia and Sarno, was now left helpless at the side of the circuit, having done the hard work of climbing back into a sufficient scoring position. Hildebrand, 5 laps away from being champion, would have to watch as Spurgel continued to lead, and as long as he could keep going, would snatch the championship. Spurgel had had a fantastic race, but the job wasn't complete. The lead to Palomba only half a second, and he still had to finish the race in the top 5 to overhaul the remaining points gap to Hildebrand. The laps ticked on by, Spurgel continued to press, Palomba never far behind, and as lap 23 came to a conclusion, the dream became a reality. Matteo Spurgel took the race win, having climbed to the top of the European Gearbox Mountain, the new 2025 FIA Karting KZ European Champion. A historic win, the first driver to win KZ's European Championship as a reigning KZ2 champion in 15 years, a first FIA primary class driver's title for a French pilot since 2020, the first French driver to ever win the FIA Karting KZ European Championship. The final result in Germany, Spurgel wins to give Sodi their first European KZ driver's title, with Palomba and Albanese making up the rest of the podium. Nomblo and Denner score in the top 5, Ippolito, Gustafsson, Vasile and Trefilov round out those who finished. Hildebrand scores points for 10th place, falling short in the end by 21. The culmination of a dramatic KZ final, Matteo Spurgel, the new KZ champion, a result scarcely believable at the midpoint of the race.
Yeah, of course, it's just amazing to win this championship the 2 consecutive years. Yeah, it was just an amazing weekend. We have really good speed, but also a lot of chance. And yeah, at the end we won it, so I'm really happy. I came here at the beginning of the year. I wanted to win, but I knew that it's gonna be difficult. But yeah, everything is possible, so I worked really hard with the team. And yeah, at the end we did it.
Yeah, it's really better with these tires for us, because my feeling with this chassis is so good, and it's the first race with LeConte with this team, the Maranello Kart and Viti, and this is the result. So we are happy for that, and yeah, really thank you to Maranello Kart and VT Racing for the fantastic job done.
I started in P8. Very good start. After the second corner, one crash, and I win 2 positions. And after the pace is really good, and I overtook Noblo. And after then, Pedro, I think, broke the engine, and arrived in P3. And I'm really happy, and we will see in Franciacorta.
You know, as well, I'm very proud because, you know, we start with Matteo. He was not even in the age to start KZ. I remember I was his mechanic in 2023, I think, so, you know. So we start since day 1 with him, and I'm so proud of the achievement, you know. Last year, European champions in KZ2. This year is rookie in KZ1 and immediately winning, you know. This category sometimes people don't know, but for me, go-kart is, you know, you are 1 to 10 slower. It is like you're slow. It's one of the most complicated in motorsports, and he did it. So I'm so proud of the job done. I'm so proud of Matteo as well, who is an amazing driver. Of course, he's a shy guy, you know, but he works so hard, and To have him in the team, it's amazing. He always gives the good information. He works so good.
Mülsen's introduction to the FIA karting family is a triumph. History made in all 3 finals. For Oiva Ventenranta, a chance now stands before him and many others to become the latest FIA Karting Academy winner later in the year. Maxim Orlov's first FIA karting title was in little doubt before the race in Germany. That shouldn't take away though from the magnitude of what the new KZ2 European champion has achieved. Streets ahead of the rest of the competition, with further talent within the Saudi organisation shining through. The outstanding question for Orlov: what's next in his motorsport career? What next for the Saudi team also as they switch their attention to retaining and winning titles at the Worlds later in the year? In a movie script-like finale, Matteo Spergel confirms his place as one of the modern-day elite karting drivers. A wonderful performance in Germany through every practice, qualifying heat and then the final, to claim his first KZ European Championship title. All 3 categories now look forward to their final races of the year in Italy later in the autumn. We very much hope to see you there.